Hey YouTube, it's Mickey D bringing you episode 68 of Stationeers. Hi MacGyver. So, we are back. It's been a couple days since I last streamed. Pretty much got over my cold, thankfully. I did a few things off camera. Basically, I was letting the base idle quite a bit. As you can see, I've depressurized it, which took forever. Like, literally forever. Um, the volume pumps aren't really working that great to depressurize. They probably work okay to filter, um, but and I did do a few little things real quick, which we'll go over. Um, Having heating issues too, which was the other thing I was trying to resolve. I did do a little mining run, gathered some like ice and whatnot. Ended up flooding the base, which was fun. Oh, and I died. I was letting the base idle. I let it idle a little too long, and oh look, jumpsuit and everything. And yeah, my suit went dead, and my battery went dead in my suit, and I ended up dying. So that's my first death in the game, or at least recoverable one, since you can actually respawn. And I didn't feel like rolling back because I would have rolled back quite a bit. So, yeah. So there was down here, which is where I started to go, is so I did change this out to a volume pump because this is the one that wasn't um, switched out, and it was actually hooked up backwards. So I actually had that hooked into the exhaust when I was doing the redoing the intakes and whatnot last time. It comes up over the battery charger. So what happened is when I smelted the gases, they were being collected, but the water, since it's heavier, it literally like poured out of there and flooded this room, and it was up to, I don't know, about there. So I ended up having to tie into that and bring the line down in a passive. Um, and you have to put the passive underneath the water or at the water level to be able to pull it up. So basically, I ended up pulling it back into the system. That was fun, kind of surprising, but yeah, that's why I opened this up. As you can see, I did get some steel walls up, still no lights, and oh, looks like I missed a section. Um, yeah, but what else did I do? I got this mostly purged. There's still a little bit of carbon dioxide in there, but I figure it's probably not enough to mess with anything. And as you can see, I got walls up in here. So kind of the really boring, just kind of make a whole bunch of steel and stick it up. But back here, this was the one that was, I had the two lines intake and whatnot and running through to go into the other side. And yeah, I hooked into the wrong one down for when I redid that to run the line over. So got that straightened out. I also went ahead when I was up there and just threw the active vent in. So now we've got the active and we've got the return. And since I died, I got more batteries. And then I pretty much recycled everything else. So yeah, nothing in here. So that's pretty much it. A few things off camera, mostly just like I said, tweaking few little things, waiting for the base to depressurize, because it got some contaminants in it, and it was just taking forever. So I figured I'd depressurize it, which ended up taking a long, long, long time. So to resolve that, which I thought of a way to fix it, is on the return lines, like so here, I'm going to go ahead and tie in an active vent. And what we're going to do is have that tied in, and we'll just tee off on the power, so it'll be on the same circuit. And what we'll do is when this switch is, we'll add a selector onto this circuit, and then when this switch is off and it shuts these off, it'll activate the return active vents, and then that should depressurize the base a lot faster. I'm hoping that these are going to be able to keep up for the filtration, but we'll have to figure that out. I might see, I still want to see about if I think the bottleneck is the passive vent itself. I don't think it has enough airflow, but I need to do some testing on that. And so I'm going to try to, just add another passive vent in and see if it increases the flow coming through. I don't know. We'll have to see. Um, I would think there would be enough of them, but maybe not. And then the same thing with the airlock. We'll try adding another one in and see if that makes a difference. So the other issue that I was trying to resolve was, as you can notice, the base is at negative 1.7 degrees Celsius. And that is about as warm as I've gotten it, with all the heaters running, with it being pressurized. And as you can see here, there's negative 51 degrees. It just will not heat it up. 10 degrees. And, I did make one little change over here too. So I changed this from a valve to a volume pump to pressurize that. So that way we can have more control over it. And I changed, obviously the pipe's not sticking out of the floor anymore. So there was a little bug in there that this was tying in before, not before the active pump. It was tying in after the radiators or something, or before the radiators or something. I can't remember what it is now. But basically when I went to go depressurize the base, I think it was pumping it. It wasn't into the radiators. I'm trying to remember what the issue was. Oh, yeah, because where this was tied in, when I activated this, it was basically going to pump out the radiator into well, no, because the volume pump's there. Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but anyway, yeah, there was an issue there, so I had to redo it anyway and tie it on. And it actually works better now because it's reading, because the volume pump is after the tank now. So now it's reading what's in this line completely, because before the volume pump was, on the other side. So yeah, and I'm trying to remember what the issue was here. It was something with either returning. It was basically had to do with where that vent was tying in relation to something else. So anyway, it's straightened out. It's fixed. It's working right now. But we've got to do something about heat. And I think what I'm going to do is we're going to put like 4 heaters in here, 4 or 5 heaters in here for this room. And then we'll have, because it's a huge room for one. And then that will let us take the heater that's already on here on this circuit, pull it off, and I think we're going to put it in here because we have no heater in here. And then that way every room will have a heater, and then this room will have the 4 heaters, or 5 if we can get 5. I don't think we can get 5, but we're going to try because we're going to have the circuit. And my thought is on that is I'm trying to figure out a way to do it, and I don't know if it'll work or not, but I want to see. So base heat right here, this writer. I want to see if we can take this and change how it's laid out so that this data is not tied on to the rest of the circuit. That way we can, are we going to be able to do that? What I want to see is if there's some way that we can only pull off of the data on this side and have it tie into the circuits, because it's not going to be able to feed power back through if the wire's not connected to anything. And then that way, my thought is we can run multiple, because I don't want to have to replicate. I mean, we don't have to do the whole thing, but I don't want to replicate a ton of this to have another heating, line. So my thought is that we move this. Maybe we'll just rotate it around. Let me see. If we come up that side, then come up that. So yeah, if it does, if that data doesn't tie into the other, so yeah, we can flip it 180 degrees, and then we can just tie off. Um, and my thought is it can tie into, so we can bring off the data, tie into this line, and it shouldn't be able to send power back through it. So it should keep them separate because it's a data port only. And then if we run another circuit for the other, ooh, actually we have the benefit too, is if we do that, then we can have this circuit be on a whole, no, because it still ties into the pressure and the cooling and stuff. But we can come off and then we can run another circuit with the heaters on it without having to replicate that, and it'll let us put, if it's just heaters, then we can put 5 on it, opposed to like now we're limited to 4 because we're running AC, pressure sensor, the heaters plus the logic circuit. So we can't do more than 4 because then we'll go over if it tries to run all 5. So we'll probably do that first. And then if we can get that to work, which it should just be batch rate, wall heater on, yeah. All right, and you can see I now have blue tools because I died. So I guess one of the benefits, I hated the white tools, by the way. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I have a thing against white. Just because, you know, you can't keep it clean. All right, so we're going to want to turn this around. I think is what we're going to want to do. And my hopes are that, I'm hoping that the issue we're having with getting enough heat is that we just don't have enough wall heaters. But the other issue is we're not getting, and I don't know if it's in conjunction with it or not, we'll have to figure out, but we're not getting enough heat out of the radiator system. So my thought is that, actually let's collect both of those. My thought is that if we get, because what's happening, what I'm seeing is we're bleeding heat out of the tanks into the base because the base is so cold. So it's not letting, you know, we can't get the tanks warm enough basically. And that's actually the only reason we have some heat in the base, is that's basically what's bled off of the tanks, from as far as I can tell. So it's something we're going to have to address. And it's either that or they just, you know, they need to do something. I mean, we need some heat in the radiator system anyway. They're being kind of glitchy for the ACs, from what I've been able to tell anyway. It seems like it's only dumping, and it might be because we're not generating enough heat, but it seems like it's dumping all the heat into like one tank at a time, and then the other tanks are cooling down. It's not heating them all up. Hey, David. But again, I don't know, you know, if we get the base up to temperature, then maybe, because then they should be absorbing heat, and you know, hopefully they'll maintain that temperature. All right, so let's get the, oh, I didn't set that to be a batch writer. There we go. And yeah, that side out. Oh, there's no, actually no input on that side, is there? Yeah, there is actually no input there, so we don't actually need that. Let's save a wire. There we go. So we should, and I'm hoping this will work, we should just be able to run this straight. We'll run it, well, we'll get this portion hooked back up first, and then we'll see. I mean, this should definitely work. And then what we'll do is we'll tie back into here with 4 anyway. All right. So batch writer AC, the N is high temp over. Okay, so that's a low temp override. Is what we want in there. Temp override, and then we're going to output to. Oh, I just passed it. Wall heater and on. Okay, so that should work because we should get no power flowing back through. So we can let this run. Oh, no, shoot, that's not gonna work. All right. Yeah, that's not gonna work because can we pass a signal through a transformer? No, we don't want to do that. I wish we had some way. And I know they plan on doing it. The data and the power is supposed to be two separate networks later on. So, I mean, I imagine they'll probably have a cable that's data and power. Maybe not, because they're kind of going towards, splitting data. Everything's kind of getting either a data and or two separate ports, one for data, one for power. I think one of the only few machines that had that was the solar panel. And then they still came out with an alternate with it split. Because, yeah, right now, yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Because now we're feeding power through this, but if we tie off to go to the other wall heaters to activate them, it's going to be, it's going to be the same thing. If we didn't come back into this line, then that would work. But they've got to get power somewhere. Shoot. Okay. Oh, well, there was a waste of 5 minutes. Darn. Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I was like, it'll work. No, it won't. Oh, it'll work. No, it won't work. Okay, we'll just try it. But, yeah, that's not going to work because now we're tying into the same one again. All right, so we're going to have to kind of replicate this, which really kind of sucks. So we're going to need to set. Obviously, we don't need. Yeah, we're going to need compare the select unit, 2 memory chips, reader logic. Yeah. All right. So I did not want to have to just redo a whole logic system again to do the exact same thing that one's already doing, but I don't see a way around that because we need a way to separate the data and the power, and I'm not seeing a way to do it in this case because we've only got one port. We don't have two. So, all right. Let's turn the jetpack off. We're going to need chips and whatnot. And we're going to need a transformer, which I don't think we have. I don't think we have a small transformer made. No, we got memory, processor, inputs, outputs. We might have enough circuitry. I might not have to make any more. We definitely don't have to make any memory. Oh, they so yeah, there was a few updates. ActiveVent, they changed the model, so it looks more like the. Oh, that's interesting. They don't have they have power only. They don't show data on it. But anyway, so yeah, it's more in line with the update to the pass event where they did that a little while ago. And it looks like they've been doing a lot of work on getting the we don't need a switch. On getting the the motherships working. It seems to be a lot of what the updates for the beta branch are right now is atmospherics for the motherships, movement velocity, whatnot. So And then they did actually roll some of it back because I guess they had a separate atmospherics for the motherships, and then I guess it was buggy, so they rolled it back to be the same. Is kind of like global atmospherics for whatever, I guess ties into whatever planet you're on or whatever. But so, but I think they said that's temporary. It's planned that, because basically you need to have your own environment in the spaceship. Oh, I just passed it. Oh, copper. 49. Which we probably don't have. 51. We'll smelt some more. We'll dump it out of the other one, but since it takes a while, I didn't realize we were quite low. Oh, that's right. I made all that cable. And copper. Thank you. But we'll get a transformer made. We might need a circuit or two. We'll have to take some heavy cable down, because we'll need to tie this in. If we can figure out where we're going to tie it in. I don't even know where we're going to put the circuit. We'll have to figure that out. And I just said we need to take heavy cable, and I was going to walk right by it. Yeah, 34 should be enough. I think there should be a spot on the wall. I'd like to put it on that wall because we need to run up to this side. And yeah, I kind of want it. So what we might do, the problem is now I've got to put another logic circuit in. So you know what? We might just run a line up across, since I don't think there's anything under here, and this is our supply side of the batteries. So we'll just run up and we can't. Yeah, we'll run up inside and we'll go inside there and go across. Because otherwise, I'm not going to have a spot to put a logic circuit in, I don't think. Yeah. All right, so we'll stick this on the wall. And what are we on? The we're going to have to run a cable down through there. I should probably put blocks underneath that or something. I wish there was some way to fill in underneath the stairs, like with, I don't know, angled blocks. Yeah, we're just going to leave it all the way to this side. And this will be in lines with getting the oh, taking it in, power out. Oh yeah, so you can't send data through a transformer. Yeah, so you can send data through it and then it stops. And then you get power only. But that's kind of opposite. See, I need something opposite. I need something I can pass data through but not power. So if anybody wants to make a mod, there's a good one. We can call it like a signal filter. That would work great. All right, so we're going to stick that in there, and we're going to go ahead and just turn it all the way up to 5,000. Because we know we're going to be running. And then maybe what we'll do is we'll just put we should be able to get the circuit probably to fit. We might just, no, we're running cables and stuff underneath the floor. So yeah, we'll probably just try to stick it on this wall. It shouldn't hopefully have to be too big. I say that, but we're going to have quite a few components to make. So anyway, all right, yeah. So we can tie into, I almost wonder if I should just go ahead and throw another battery here. And no, because we're going to have to run the input line around and stuff. So we're not going to do that now. We are still hitting 100% during the day. So we are actually still generating more power. Well, actually, I can't say that because we're adding more heaters in. Yeah, so let's get all this stuff done before we try to figure out that one. Since if we get the extra, that's between all of them, we're gonna have 4 there, 8,000 watts right there in heaters. So yeah. All right, and I guess yeah, this is gonna go straight up, and we're gonna come across, and we'll have to bust through the blocks and go up through, or that's gonna be kind of a pain because we got the stairwell on that side. But we shall figure it out. It'd almost be worth it to. No, because it's the corner, isn't it? Well, actually, yeah, because then we have to. Yeah, we'll see. That's going to be kind of a pain to get it over to that side. But we'll just get it kind of started and go from there. And then we're still going to have to run another circuit for, or basically grid for the heaters themselves. So this is definitely going to be a multi-episode endeavor. And I think I just want to go ahead and put we'll do the whole, just throw a whole bunch of 4-ways up because tie in. So, oh shoot. So we've got to do another pressure sensor. Yeah, I really wish they'd start doing some work on the data networks because we're having to duplicate a whole bunch of stuff. Unless we don't put the pressure override on this one. I think I read that they updated the heaters to not work if it's below the 8 kPa, just like the ACs. Because if so, then we don't actually need to cut off. That's the whole reason for it, is to keep them from running when there's no pressure. The ACs already do that. So, and if I thought about that, we actually don't need the low temp override, or the high temp override, because that's the one that does the AC. All right. It's probably not worth doing it right now, but we could probably pull off the sensor and tie it into each network and they could share it. No, we couldn't, because then it would still be splitting power. Ugh, that's so annoying. Yeah, I can't see. Unless we fed it directly into the circuit, the reader. We could do that. If we put the reader at the top, then we could actually split it off and just tie into the data port on the reader. That would keep it separate for that. But no, it wouldn't, because we still have to give it pressure. I believe the sensor does require power, so, and I could be mistaken on that one, but all right. So we're gonna stick one of these. I guess we'll stick it right here since. Autosave. And I do have to cut this episode off as soon as I hit an hour, just because I got a late start and tonight. But like I said, I hadn't streamed. Ended up not streaming on Sunday or Monday, so I wanted to definitely get a stream in tonight. And then I'm going to see, we've got a big storm coming in. So I don't know. I might not have power tomorrow, I guess is basically what I'm trying to say. Okay, I want to change this. There we go. I don't want that there because we're wasting space for that. Let's actually, you know what? Let's just do this.
I don't know why I started with the wiring, because I never start with the wiring. I always lay out the circuits first. It's so much easier to do it that way. Oh, the sun is still shining through. I was wondering about that. They did do some work, I guess, on the sun. They basically made it when it goes below ground now, because it was the issue with it clipping through, kind of, you'd see it through caves and craters and stuff. Um, that was something else that they did actually put out a patch for, that I guess they made it dimmer, for whatever it's worth, um, when it goes below the horizon. And you know what? If we turn this, I don't know if we can we still, yes, we can still activate the switches. Okay. Come on, pick it up. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, because we could do a three-way right there. And that, actually, I want to put it up there because we don't want to tie into that circuit. Yeah, I guess we're going to stick it up there. Okay, so we need a reader, we need a batch writer. And we can, I think, do it right there. And memory, and then we need to compare. I think we'll try that and then see if they did do the, doesn't work below. If it doesn't, if they do the, oh, actually, you know what? We'll put it there. Would probably work better. If they did make it so it's like the AC and it doesn't work, because then we don't need that. And we'll probably actually end up adjusting that circuit to get rid of it too, because that'll save us some power. All right, and we're going to want to get rid of that. All right, so compare unit batch writer, reader, compare batch writer. Yep. All right. So yeah, we'll just do the simple circuit, get it up and running, and then we can start getting stuff wired up. And I don't want that. So, you know that. Oh, yeah, that's why I didn't want that. All right. Yeah. So I'm really hoping this will address the. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not sure that it will, but I'm really hoping this will address the heat issue with the radiators as well. If not, then we're going to have to. I'm going to have to make some type of heating room, and then we'll have to do a logic circuit to tie into to control the radiators, basically, and then either kick the heaters on and off. We want to do a corner there. Oh, come on. And then what I should do is, yeah, we don't really have a. Okay, we'll change that. So we're going to make this a three-way corner that ties in like that. And then I'm just going to delete that. And we'll just make that a regular corner. That'll work. Yeah. All right, so now everything's all tied in. All right, so we're going to have to get some more of the system in before we can actually finish it. So what I'm going to do is, since that's going to be controlling basically the filtration room, I'm going to put a pressure sensor in the filtration room to pull the temperature off up there, because otherwise it's not going to be, it's going to read different down here. Um, so I could see that running into, issues later on if, it's reading from a completely different area of the base. When did we have the, high tip limit? 293. Okay. So we went the same thing on this one. Yeah, we'll make that 293. And we're going to read the pressure sensor from this, which we can't do until we actually get it up there. We're going to write to the, oh, we want the logic compare. Oh, this is nice because this is all that's on it. So it's not pulling 5 million things up. So we want to compare the logic memory, or no, we want to compare the logic reader to the memory. And we want to say if it's less than, and then that will kick it on. So we're going to get that on, and then we're going to do logic compare in to the heaters, and the setting will obviously be on, but we have no heaters on it, so it's not going to let us do it yet. And we're going to need more we're going to need more regular cable. I think we've got some. So that'll get it started, and yeah, we can move to that one. All right, hopefully we can go throw these in here for now, since we shouldn't need those. We shouldn't need any more heavy either. So we'll go ahead and take everything we've got for the regular cables. And now I'm going to figure out how it might actually be worth it if we come up and run up this way. And I think we can get up into the wall on that side. And then we'll leave the cooling. And we should actually make a... Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's we got a few more things to do. There's going to be another airlock over there, and again, do another airlock on the other side. That way, I won't have to completely run around the base every time we leave it. Yeah, I think we can run up right there. I think that'll work. So let's open this up, and none of this should. Well, we've pretty much got the base depressurized anyway, so we shouldn't have to worry about. Oh, yeah, wrong. That's right. Okay, and I think that's going to come up. Might need to go one more forward. Obviously, we haven't had to run over this way for a while, so there we go. And then we should be able to tie in right there. So yeah, we should be able to run right down. I'll probably just go grab the pick real quick, clean some of this up, and I think we might need to go through. No. Yeah, well, there's a bit. Lately, it's been working on the heating and cooling. Wow, I actually should say the air filtration system, which the new setup does seem to be working a lot better. We could do a little bit of more work on the returns. We're not getting enough airflow. And I always, well, we're going to try just putting expanding the circuit a little bit so that we can use active vents when we shut the system off, because it takes way too long to depressurize the base right now. But I'm hoping that we're not going to have the issue of they're working so slow that we're not getting decent filtration as well. Oh, is that a section of floor without a block in it? Wow. That must have been like that for a long time if I've never realized that. All right. Oh, very nice. That's oh, did that come up right in front of the doorway? Really? I guess that'll work. I think the power's on the other side, so we should be able to pull through it. Yeah, I gotta get lights in here. Yeah, we'll just come up and wrap around, I guess, and hmm. I was kind of hoping we'd come over here, but either way, we're gonna have to cross lines. So it's a good thing the base is pressurized. Oh, how many circuits? There's one for every room basically, and then heating and cooling, and then we're adding in this one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Um, yeah, because basically every room is on its own circuit, uh, and then one for heating and cooling. And now this is going to be the second heating and cooling, or heating circuit. Well, okay, eventually it'll probably be heating and cooling. I might as well just go ahead and I think we're just going to have to completely replicate that. But it should, we usually leave the doors open, so it should equalize anyway. So we might be able to just leave the cooling on the circuit it's on. I don't know. Then we're gonna have that might bite us in the end too, because we might have issues with um, they're going to be separate for that room. So I could see at some point, I don't know, it's going to equalize. So I guess we'll see how it goes. I could feasibly see the one sensor's reading that it's too cold or too hot, and the other sensor's reading it's too cold, and then, we'll have heaters and coolers running at the same time, which, obviously would not be efficient. So, and I don't want to run, because I don't want to have to try to run the wiring in the buried in the stone. So, and we need to go up anyway. So what we're gonna do is come around this corner, and if I can get this to turn the right way, there we go. So now we can run right across the ceiling. And that should, and I hate when we're on the corners. Makes it, well, cabling doesn't seem to be as bad as pipes when it's on the edges. But definitely pipes on the edges are a pain, because it makes it really difficult to pull them back up unless you grind down. Okay, and we're gonna let's go pull off that wall cover and see. I don't know if we should come out farther or not. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I do my own. I own a few houses, so I do my own electrical work and my own plumbing. I always say, was it jack of all trades, master of none, basically. So do all my own mechanic work as well, unless it's something like, got to drop the transmission or something, because I don't have a garage right now. So, all right, where it is? Oh, I think we ended. Yeah, right there. So we can do a corner. All right, there we go. We're gonna pull up that floor grate. All right. Yeah, this was the other reason I ended up depressurizing the base, because we're gonna have to tear into the ceilings. Oh, especially if we do the if we have to end up messing with the radiator system. So we could. Yeah, we're gonna run out of cabling too, aren't we? I know it. Yeah, not enough to get all 5 hooked up, definitely. But oh, I did not want to do that. And there we go. Oh, almost had a floating wire there. So I think, yeah, we'll go up to the ceiling, and we're gonna have to pass over through. We might put a heater over here. My thought was is just to bring it over here and then leave that one there, but since we've already got the other circuit there, that's going to be kind of a pain. And I really got to get lights hooked up, but trying to get the base heated has been a little bit more of a priority. Since I don't know if they made a change or it's just because the expansion on the base, but it was heating better before. All right, I guess we're gonna stick. Maybe we'll just stick one there. Maybe we'll put the. Well, probably don't want the temperature sensor right next to it, but my thought was is we would stick one on each wall. I guess that's kind of more of a central location, so we can go from there and then we can come down. We could actually probably just put them on the ceiling too. Cabling, that's what I wanted. Did we use all the? We got a little bit. That's right, about enough for 100. All right, there we go. I'll let it make. Oh, that copper's. You know what? We're gonna use it. So go ahead. This is where I'd like to have a stacker there one of these days. All right. Oh, you know what we need too, which is the same machine. Yeah. We need a unless we've already got one, which I don't think we do. We need a pressure sensor. I'd like to at least get enough of that done that we have the circuit running. That'll also tell us if we need the override or not. So, yeah, go ahead and pick some of this up. Let's stop this for a minute so we can make the. Oh, actually, is the sensor? Oh, it's been a while since we made one. Yeah, sensors. Okay. For some reason, because it has the gas sensor, I always think that it's made in the. I always debate if it's made in this one or if it's made in the pipe bender. Cable coil. There we go. All right, go back to building that again. So I think what we'll do, I'd like to put the sensor more towards the center, just because if we have, for some reason, like this side's colder because it's bigger. If there's heat coming through the doorways, it's not throwing it off. But I think, well, we don't want it right next to. Let's see, how was I was gonna run the lights up, but lighting circuits is gonna be a whole nother thing. So we're just gonna throw it up here for now. And then we can tie it in. And because we can always move it. Oh, you know what we should have made while I was down in the other room? I should have made some. I should have made some wall heaters. Actually, we can pull that one off the wall for now because we're gonna need to. It's not gonna be on that circuit anyway. But we still need to make one to replace that one basically because we need one in the other room. Which that'll be easy because we've already got the circuit run over there, so it's basically just moving that. Or just basically changing it to a junction. So, and then hopefully we'll see start being able to get the base to heat back up again. And then I guess from there is we'll go and see if the if the heaters are producing more heat, if it's not killing the radiators. Oh, come on. They got to put that bevel on there. You always start slipping. I mean, come on, really. Who would actually have, those would have been flat in real life. All right, there we go. No, no, stay, stay. I'm still waiting for that hover. One of these days. Why does this seem like that's... Nope, that should work. All right, come on. Still waiting for a junction, too. I'm going to see, does anybody know what the current status is of the mod support? Because I'm assuming it's not very far along because I haven't really seen, there's a few little mods here and there, but nothing. I would have think that there at least been some, I'm going to say, like textured blocks or something, But it seems like everything's, I guess it must be pretty limited right now. It seems like everything's either related to, a few things to mining. Though I did notice they added a tag in the workshop for, and I don't think we should have anything else. Oh, that is a three-way corner. So we're bringing power. It's coming down through there, going to there. It shouldn't be coming up through there. Oh, because no, those are on a separate circuit. Yeah, it's, I like it. Honestly, I got a little frustrated the other day. Part of the reason why I didn't stream the last couple days, because, and it's an early access, so I kind of expect that. But, running around trying to get the base heated and, the even though I knew there was heat in the system and it was basically still trying to, oh yeah. So I've noticed, and I don't know if it's a bug or not, I'll have to keep an eye on it. So I had a problem where, so I got to the point where I was shutting off all the other ACs because there's not a lot of heat in the system, and I don't know if they changed something because they seem even buggier than they were, but like I had this set to like 20 degrees Celsius like it is right now. It was actually cooling the tank. That or the tank was losing heat faster than this could
put heat into to it. So it was getting really frustrating. Um, because I'm trying to heat the base, trying to heat the tanks, and it's nothing. So hopefully revamping this, adding the other heaters on, will address it. I can't say, it's been a while since we've had the base pressurized, so I don't know if they've changed anything, or if it's just, like I said, we've expanded so much. Oh, it's red iron. And I could change the suit battery. That was one benefit of dying, is we actually got more batteries. I think we got one large battery and then 2 small batteries out of it. Plus, we actually do have another tool belt, so we could actually pull. Oh, I think we've actually got some large batteries in there too. Not that large batteries are all that expensive to make, but let's see. Yeah, that's what we want. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw this here for now, and tie it up on that circuit. And that way we can get that circuit finished. And we'll come up on that side. And then it's just a matter of expanding it, which we'll probably do in the next episode, because we are getting close to hitting an hour now. Oh, there was a couple of bug fixes in the one thing I do like is the devs are really active. I mean, on the beta branch, we're getting, you know, during their Monday through Friday, obviously different time zone, whatnot. There's probably seeing, like, 2, 3 updates a day, you know, of them working on stuff. Obviously, a portion of that's bug fixes and whatnot. But so yeah, we got heat. So we'll drop down here. Of course, I have to go button all this all up now. Some of this we can actually go ahead and cover back up. All right, so we can now. What about my suit? We want to read gas sensor and temperature. And then we can compare those, which should be logic reader, yep, is less than batch writer. And we want to say logic compare to wall heater and on. We can go ahead and take the pickbacks with us too, since we don't need that right now. All right, so now it's going to see as if that wall heater's on. If not, they're not. Okay, so yeah, they're not. They didn't set them up like the ACs, so they don't. They're not. We'll need to add an override in like we have on the other one. And we got an autosave. Though with the it's not critical. We don't have to do it right now because we're producing more power than we're using still, so by quite a bit. So we're good there. Oh, yeah, the other one. Yeah, I if you look back in the last episode, my helmet was almost completely destroyed. The durability was like just this one little smidgen at the very end, and I actually was gonna swap it out, and I was like, oh, I'll wait, but yeah. Anyway, that's what happens when which that was the original one, because that's
I think there was only one time I got knocked unconscious, and I need. Is this all steel? It's gonna be a pain in the butt to find out where the iron is. Might be just this one. Yeah. Next time, as soon as I get steel, which is, fairly soon, then I am ripping out any iron that I have and replacing it with steel because this is a pain in the butt. I mean, granted, it's only the. Well, it should be this one. Oh, no, it's not that one. Yeah, there it is. It's only the floor blocks. I mean, at least I was smart enough to, you know, only use them for one thing. But that was, okay, make sure we don't have anything stuck in there. I don't see anything. All right. It spikes, just like the coal generator does. So sometimes it puts out a little bit more, sometimes it puts out a little bit less. I'm not positive, but off the top of my head, I believe I was told that it generates um, 60,000 watts, but I'm not 100% positive on that. I haven't read it since uh, I looked it up. But it does have to be, you do have to hook it up to a transformer because it can overload the lines. I believe it is. So you've basically got to set that. Hey, Dark Dragon. Which I can tell you real quick. Let me see. It's probably on the cheat sheet, which will be under. Come on, stop. Electrical. And yeah, I really should make the nuclear batteries. They hold almost 10 times as much as the regular one. Oh yeah, I don't think this is being up. Oh no, updated last 3/2/18. Oh, that might be 2/3/18. I never know. Is that in U.S. time date or is that in everybody else's date time format? Yeah, solid generator is 20 kilowatts. I think the gas is like 60. Um, because you have to basically hook them into the transformer. No, nuclear batteries, not nuclear generators. Because we're still running like large batteries. Yeah, I think that's actually February 3rd for the last time it was updated. Okay, we get everything down here. Yeah, obviously we're getting plenty of power generation or storage. All right, so and then we've got so that one's on there. So yeah, we need to make some more. Which we'll probably need more copper for. I didn't put another piece in the smelter, did I? Because obviously we've used. Hey, look, coils. Yeah, I know. I also have a ton of them. One of these days, we get done messing with other stuff, and yeah, we'll probably. I don't know. We get the base filtration working well, and get the lights in the and the heat and whatnot. The radiator system. I mean, the radiator system and the base getting heated is like, you know, kind of my priority right now. Um, then we'll probably. No, I don't. I need more. You forget we have to wire lights in that giant room. Plus, we have to run a circuit for heating and cooling in there as well. Oh, and we've got to hook up active vents. Yeah, so we'll probably need more. Good thing we have plenty of, I mean, that's only, yeah, 219. Take the 19. Um, yeah, no copper. Oh, that's right. Wall heater should be in here anyway, which we do have copper in here, so we're all set. And there we go. Yeah, I know. I think if they ever get a, and why can I only hold one wall heater? I can carry a stack of 5 active vents, which are the same size, but I can only carry one wall heater. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think 4 is what we need. So we can go ahead and add one here to that circuit, and then the rest of them, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that works out great. So we'll stick one on each of the other walls in there. And that copper's done. Yeah, I wish they hadn't made those changes to the furnace, because now the furnace is kind of a pain to use opposed to how it used to be. All right, so yeah, we're gonna stick, and I think what I'm gonna do is 1, 2, 3. Oh, of course, we got a tank in the middle. And we'll stick it. Oh yeah, plus we get the space up front. So yeah, this will be about the center of the room. Which, hey, look, cabling to run around. And then we'll stick one here. Yeah, definitely. We're gonna have cable circuits snaking all through here. Oh, the not the the smeltery, not the furnace. I don't know if I want to stick it on that wall. I mean, we're gonna return there. We might stick it right here. We're going to stick the airlock on that side, so I don't want to interfere with the airlock. All right, why do I have one floor grating? I should definitely have another one somewhere. Probably buried underneath one of the floor gratings. I really don't like that. Is one thing I don't like about the floor gratings is if you actually put something down, you can put a floor grating on top of it, which is a good way to lose them, which is probably what's happened. Unless I accidentally stuck. Nope. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if I ever tear the base apart. Like, how many parts of things I find buried under something else. Really shouldn't be that much. There's probably I imagine there's probably a few oh look, we had a spare wall heater as it was. Anyway, there's probably a few spare steel plates and floor grates floating around. I guess we can just stick it in the corner. Yeah, we might stick it right there. Probably doesn't really matter on this, but yeah, we'll do it like that way. Oh, should have done it the other way. Only for the sole fact it'll be easier to reach the wire. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's been uranium. We've had uranium. I think uranium's been in since the very beginning. I've just never really had a need to build them. and I think they take like pretty much every alloy to make them. I just wish they'd give us like a bigger battery for the base. And there we go. Straight. Yeah, that should be the same circuit. And oh, wrong one. I like my fancy blue tools. Much better than the white tools. Who has white tools? They were just so dirty constantly. The new Makitas are white and black. Oh yeah, it doesn't really. I think really nuclear batteries. I think is the only thing you actually use it for. Yeah, it's the bright glowing green. You know, which I'm sure there's nothing unhealthy about. You know, just having uranium sitting right out in you know, your base in the open. Yeah, I know. We gotta make alloys first, but I haven't actually needed them. I mean, the large batteries, for the most part, last quite a long time. You know, if we had a spaceship when we were leaving and going quite a ways and stuff, then I would probably, you know, be more inclined to have like a nuclear battery just because, you know, they're going to last a lot longer and if we have to run equipment and stuff like that. But oh, look at that. We're up to 6.9 in here. 6.8, 6.7. So that heater seems to be working. So yeah, we can tie in off of that, and we'll move obviously the that away from the heaters because it's probably not going to help it to read right. Stick it in this another room. Yeah, and then we'll probably change this. We'll probably have to do the same thing for the. I don't know. Right now, it seems like it seems like the only you know, the issue is getting heat, not getting rid of heat and inside the base wise. Um, you know, the greenhouse obviously is it's an issue of cooling, not heating. But I should make another suit rack so I can. I don't know if that's the durability on that. The helmet was the one that was showing the. I wonder if it'll still show. No, I just swapped it. Ah, that's weird. Yeah, because the helmet was showing almost no durability before, but now it's on the EVA suit. That's kind of a bug. An extra prison uniform. All right. Oh, well, we have the giant radiator system on the other side that this is tied into for the greenhouse. No, I think what I'm going to do is, and I might, okay, so I'm tempted to do it a couple different ways. Um, I'm tempted to tie this greenhouse radiator into the regular radiator system, and then because it'll equalize the temperature across them, so the greenhouse will be dumping heat into this. Though, if I remember correctly, since we don't have the greenhouse with plants in it, it's not really getting that hot right now. So it's negative 124. So it's not really going to help us too much. Um, oh, this is one thing I don't like about this change in here. I want to add a pressure and temperature sensor so that we can monitor what the temperature is in the radiator. You know, by just glancing. Because right now I have to actually pull off this wall to read it, which is kind of annoying. But I was trying not to do a whole bunch of stuff off camera. So, yeah. And I think this was the problem is because this was over on this side. So This was basically pulling in and contaminating the radiator system. So yeah, see, this is at negative 112, which is actually warmer. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided yet because it would obviously be a lot bigger system. And I have come across where we're kind of when the greenhouse is up and running, we're still kind of taxing this radiator system, even though it's pretty good size. I mean, it's 3 or 4 runs high and 3 or 4 blocks long, if not longer. I think it's three, 4. I think it's 4 pipes tall, and then like 4 or 5 blocks long. So it's decent size, and it's shaded. Um, so that would give us because the base is gonna suck the heat out to keep these gases and stuff warm. Um, so it would definitely have a use. But my other thought is to do the whole, um, which I'm trying to figure out a good spot to do it. We might have to take where is it? This is solid. It's behind here. We might have to take one of these. The greenhouse is 30 to 40 is the ideal temperature. The base is 20 or 20 right around there. Basically, you can go a little bit warmer. It doesn't hurt you if it's at like 30. Um, but it's always this is always cooling. It's always pulling heat out of there. So any of that heat can be um, dumped into keeping these tanks warm. So, but again, like I said, and we're still keeping this. These should, when the base is pressurized and up to temperature, um, these should equalize. So it shouldn't be trying to heat as much. But the the CO2 we are heating to 30 degrees, so that is going to actually bleed off a little bit since it's going to be warmer than the base is. Um, and then obviously this is way colder than the base is because we're using it is we're pre-chilling it for if we're going to use it for cooling anyway, since it's the only thing we're using it for. Um, but and I was thinking about doing it over here, but it's not a really good location. Um, my thought is that we're going to set up a little room, and even just like a one by room, and we're going to put 4 wall heaters in it, and tie it into with a pipe analyzer, to dump heat into the radiator system. So, we'll say if the radiator gets below negative, 50 or something, then we'll have to mess around with it and see what gives us a good range. Um, because obviously we don't want to dump so much heat into it that, well, it shouldn't really matter whatever we set it to, but we don't want to ramp up the cost on. There should be a midpoint where heating slash cooling is kind of like an even, pretty equalized versus the AC, because if you're heating something with these and you don't have a lot of heat, the less heat you have in the radiator system, the more power this draws. And vice versa. If you're cooling something and you don't have a lot of cold in here, then the more power it's going to draw. So we got to find out where the midpoint is on that. Um, so we're not drawing a ton of. I don't want to heat it up so much that when we're cooling with them, we're drawing a ton of electricity, and I don't want to set it down so low, that it's not. But the issue is that these are only acting as heat exchangers right now. So if there's not enough heat in the radiator system, it can't heat the stuff up. So, and that's the issue we're running into is and we need more heat in the radiator system. Um, and running the furnace and stuff only does so much because it bleeds off too fast. So we'll have to, and for whatever reason now, so this is actually heating up where 8.2. Now, it might be because we don't have any volume. You know, we have some jetpack gases in here, and that's pretty much about it. So it could be saying that it's pumping out that much energy into, uh, basically almost nothing. So that could be why we're actually seeing it increase at a decent rate. But, I had it running, I think Sunday. I was idling in the base, just waiting for, try to get stuff to get up to temperature and whatnot. And it had barely budged. And like, see here, this temperature hasn't increased. It's been running for the last hour and 22 minutes. And then this has actually gotten colder, even though it's supposed to be heating. So, yeah, not much helpful there. But of course, it's bleeding out, and that might actually be where the base, most of the base heat is coming from. Not that it's these bleeding off heat, but I mean that's definitely helping. Because I want to see if we come over here. Nope. See, we're actually warmer over here. Unless I just jumped up while we were doing that. Yeah, so now we're at 83 over there. And then it should start, and this is the heater pumping it up. So yeah, maybe it is all coming off the heater. But if that being so, then maybe this heater was bugged because we weren't really getting any heat off of it. Because I just added that circuit in. So it's not, no, it's 8.4. Yes, I mean 8.4. Yeah, I just added the circuiting for that. It doesn't have the override in it, like the other base does. The rest of it does for the base. So, oh, hey, look, there's the missing floor grate. Yes. So that was the yeah. I've got to expand that circuit to match, but we've already did that once, so I don't want to have to we'll do that off camera. So everybody's not sitting through watching me do the exact same thing I've kind of already done, or he's already seen basically. Um, yeah, it does. It gets a bit wonky. Um, it's not as bad as it used to be. I mean, there's not like the random spikes. The base isn't like shooting up to like 1600 degrees Celsius when it's not pressurized. I mean, they did fix those bugs, but I think it's just a matter of it's thinking that there's not that many molecules, and it looks at it as basically you're putting energy into it, so it's basically spreading that between it. I think as soon as we start pressurizing it, the temperature is gonna drop back down. It is anyway because the oxygen is only like at 10 degrees, and that is, I believe, that does not transfer past, the mixer. So since it doesn't backflow, so this can be a completely separate temperature, which we're at 271. So it's that's down to around 0. Yeah. I didn't want to pressurize it yet because we've got to, if I do the radiator system, I've got to rip a hole in the wall to tie into it. So I want to get we probably will repressurize the base first, because that'll tell us if we need to expand the system or not, for the radiator. I mean, I think we're going to have to do it, but, and we might as well. We'll just let it pressurize. Yeah, so you can watch the temperature drop. And I think it was down to like negative 25 degrees before when it was pressurized. So I don't know if it'll quite go that low. I mean, I've basically just been heating
these two, but they keep bleeding off all the heat. Um, so I think what I'm gonna do is we'll get it pressurized, um, which doesn't take that long. Takes a little while, obviously, but and then we can add. I want to see about. It takes way too long to depressurize the base, so we either need to see about adding more passive vents on to see if we can increase what's being pulled through on the volume pump. I think the passive vents is bottlenecking it. Um, See if we can increase that speed. If that doesn't work, then we'll tie an active vent in as well, and then add it to the circuit. So when the switch is off, it activates those for the returns. Um, yeah, and then once we get that done, that'll let us test it. We can depressurize. Well, that'll let us see if for one, if we can get the base up to temperature with the extra heaters, which we'll probably add in tomorrow. Um, and if we can't, then it'll let us test to depressurize if we have to, to do the radiator system and see. Hopefully, we'll get a lot quicker um, depressurization of the base because it was literally, I don't know, it probably took me 5, 6 hours to depressurize the base down to like 1 kPa. So insanely long. I mean, it's way, active vents work really good for filling it and depressurizing it. I am usually on here. I have a tendency not to stream on like Mondays and Tuesdays. I try to stream at least once a night in most cases. I usually do like 3 streams on like Saturday, Sunday, each. So there's like 6 streams. And I usually stream a couple episodes on Friday. And most nights I actually start streaming around 9 p.m. Eastern. And then I usually stream like 2 streams. Um, I've had a cold. I've been getting over it. And I haven't, I've been trying to rest more. So I haven't been streaming as much. And it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes each. Sometimes. Yeah. I always say I aim for an hour stream, and here we are at an hour and a half already. Most of them end up being like an hour and 45 minutes, to an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. But I aim for an hour. Rarely hit it. And I try not to go over if I'm like doing on the weekends. I try not to. I've got a couple of streams basically that are like 2 hours and 45 minutes, like 3 hours. I try to, when I do multiple streams, I usually stream back to back. I usually just take like a 10-minute break in between to go stretch my legs, get fresh coffee, that sort of thing. Um, and so I usually, stream an hour and a half, take like a 10-minute break, stream another hour and a half. And then that way, if people watch this later on, they're not stuck with like a 3 or, 6 hour or something, video. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it does too. I mean, unless you pre-set up everything, and even then, that only works for some stuff because, I mean, I've seen a couple people where they were, basically pre-wiring all the circuits, and then they would just, oh, autosave. They were putting in, just placing the circuits and going, okay, here it is, you know, which I guess kind of works too. But, I usually, especially when the chat's more active, then it's a little bit, you know, easier to be doing stuff and not have to try to keep like a running monologue by myself. But it works out pretty good. I usually try to get, make sure we have enough wiring and whatnot, and try to. I usually do the mining runs off camera. Um, oh, and I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, not that one. That one. And there.
Well, the mining's not really a thought process. I mean, you can go watch like episode 3 when I was mining, and it's exactly the same as when I mine now. So, I mean, if they added something new to the mining, then that that would you know give me a reason. It is, but it's also like I go mining run, and I usually do mining runs for like 2 hours. I'll go and mine and stock everything up, and then smelt stuff, and stock up the machines, and then go you know mine. I usually mine until I fill the stuff up, then I start smelting stuff, and then I go out and usually mine some more. So, and I usually go collect some gases and whatnot at the same, or I should say ices at the same time. Um, oh, we've still got that's got to be tied in. That vent's not tied in with the other system. Well, no, I don't. But you know, I don't know. I don't find mining runs all that exciting, so I usually don't record them. Um, all right, so I'm gonna call it good for this episode. It is a little past my bedtime now, and I've got work in the morning. So, but we will pick up tomorrow where we left off. Probably aiming to do 2 streams tomorrow, and we got to get the other heaters wired in. Maybe while we're up there doing that, we'll run the lights. I've already got all the lights made, and we just got to place them. We'll run all the wiring for that. Because the nuclear batteries, we have to smelt all the alloys, which is going to take a little while because we have to purge the machine now every time between the other resources, since where it's going to outgas volatiles every single time. Yeah, I know. This is my end of stream, 15-minute rambling. No, I think I actually done already most of that. um, yeah. So yeah, we'll get the lights. We'll get the heaters, and I guess we'll see how the if the extra heaters actually make an improvement or not. And if not, I hope we don't have to add another heating circuit in. But I'm hoping between adding that one, we've got 5 on this side of the base. We've now got 5. Well, we'll have. Okay, no, wait a minute. We have 4 on that side of the base. We'll have 4 on this side of the base. What machine? I don't know. Which machine are you talking about? Um, yeah. Well, hopefully that will, give us enough heat. Um, oh, yeah, they did that a week or so ago. That was that's where it outgasses as soon as you put stuff in it. It's kind of hit or miss. It doesn't outgas for copper, but anything with it doesn't outgas for copper. It doesn't outgas for coal, but iron. And once it outgasses, you can't light it until you purge it, because basically it's flooded with like CO2. Um, so that's why you've got to stock it, pump everything out, and then it doesn't know what's already been in the furnace, because my thought was is run stuff through a furnace to pre outgas everything, and then you could drop it into the next one, or store it somewhere, and then if you put it in. But yeah, if you run iron through and then drop it in, and then run and then drop it out, take that same iron, put it back in, it outgasses again, which is kind of a bug and kind of an exploit, because you keep cycling it and just keep getting the outgases, which I think that's you know um, carbon dioxide for one. um, but yeah, so then you got to purge it. So that's why I was considering on automating it more than it is, but that just makes it a complete hassle. I mean, we'd have to do some huge circuit, and I mean insanely big circuit, because we're going to have to go by inventory, and then if it's outgassing, and then if it's heated, and we're still not going to be able to completely automate it, I don't think. Um, because we would have to, we might, but you're going to have to monitor pressure on it if it's something in the inventory, if it's cold, and then we'd have to run it. And you know what you could probably do is we could probably use a writer to read to a memory chip, change it to like a 1, and then if it detects if there's a 1 there, then it knows that it's outgassed, and then it can start it, and then it resets it. But yeah, again, you're getting a huge circuit, which I don't really see a point in doing it when we have to manually mix the resources anyway. Still, um, if it was different, if we had like automated inventory sort of stuff, or conveyor, where say Space Engineers, it's connected to Shoot Network and it can pull from the storage, then it would be that would be another question, because I would be automating the hell out of the furnaces and stuff, and the same thing, the machines, because I just like to go up and hit the button and have it. If it has to smelt it and then send it to the storage, then send it to the machine, that's fine. I would automate all that. But since we can't do all that, then you can't use the computers. Logic computers are broken, and they're not fixing them anytime soon because they want everybody to use the logic chips. So yeah, which I don't really agree with, because some stuff logic chips are good for, some stuff computers are good for. I mean, you can automate the heat and the cooling with a logic really easy. If you've got something that's just one compare, that's really easy to do on a computer opposed to doing on a chip, um, on the logic chips. But anyway, so, all right. Well, here we are. It's even later. Um, call this episode good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will have another stream tomorrow, if not two. And I will see you guys then. Have a good night.